Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number one, Morticia Gomez says that control is often an illusion. Like when Wednesday's father, Gomez, believes that he's in charge of the Addams family. If a male character had said something like this, then the show would have risked being cancelled. But because it's a female character, we're all supposed to laugh like constipated seals and accept it. Besides, it is actually the truth. Women do dominate families for the most part. That's why you go your own way, so you can be in charge of yourself. Up next, Jenna Ortega stuns us all with this new picture. Is it stunning because she has little to no eyebrows, and the photo is heavily photoshopped to hide the fact that she's had all that fat sucked out of her face, making her look like a cadaver now? Or is it shocking because she realizes that she made a mistake with her facial surgery and is now trying to hide the fact that she's looking more and more like Starlight from The Boys? Why are so many beautiful actresses ruining their faces these days? Number 3 is Little Tay. First she said she's only 18 years old and is making millions of dollars on OF. Then a week later she says she was feeling unhappy after being over-sexualized by the internet. First she was empowered, and now 10 days later she's the victim. Poor baby. Maybe she can always close up shop and refund everybody's money. Like that would ever happen. She likes the money she's making from horny simps. She just wishes they would send her the money without wanting her to take her clothes off. Moving on, what's wrong with the UK? They're more likely to arrest somebody for posting a meme than if somebody's actually raping girls. This is called going after so-called criminals that won't fight back, and are easy to prosecute and aren't dangerous. Something tells me that a trafficker won't go quietly. Besides, they need to boost white arrests to make it look like the newcomers aren't causing in as many problems as they presently are. Number 5, did you know that 6 times more boys are used as child laborers compared to girls? Yet I'm sure this will somehow be spun as women most affected. Someone has to build those cell phones that women enjoy, and the children have fingers small enough to assemble them. Women will probably say that more girls than boys are sexually abused. They will diminish men's pain and highlight their own instead. That's what they always do. Up next, speaking of grape, here are the recorded numbers of cases in European countries from the year 2000 all the way to 2023. All these countries have seen their numbers rise except for Poland, which saw its numbers drop. Why do you suppose that women are safer in Poland, in a country that's a lot less feminist than the West? It's a real Scooby-Doo mystery. It couldn't possibly have something to do with people coming in from Ooga Booga land and realizing that if they grape, the cops will look the other way. Number 7 is a story about a woman in New York stealing finance bros' lunches and then returning them so that they can actually be asking her out on a date. Women are getting desperate for money and they're upping their gold-digging game. Women are stealing, but our society looks the other way because they're doing it for love. Imagine if men were out stealing women's lunches so they could get a date with a woman. They would be arrested and accused of trying to roofie their roadies. Moving on is another reason that most guys will not date anymore. Because 49% of women only select for men over 6 feet tall on dating apps. But only 3.9% of men are over 6'2". And most of those men are married, so it's probably only 1% of men that meet those requirements. Women are competing for the commitment of those top men, and if they don't get them, they would rather stay single and become gray sexuals. Basically asexuals, except for the odd Chad or Tyrone sleeping with them. Number 9, Nina says that a guy texted her telling her, "Thank you for showing me what it feels like to be loved," and that he can't wait to be her wife. She says that's gay and it makes her want to cheat. Romance for men and women is clearly different. If she was attracted to him, he probably would have had more luck with her being rough in the bedroom. Men pour their hearts out, and when we hear it, they plot their community service for the streets. Almost like they want to be hoes or something. Up next, would you consider this to be racist? This black woman went to a hospital and says that there are no black nurses and doctors. That's because you have to graduate from medical school first, honey. Otherwise, it'll be the witch doctor that'll be with you in just a moment. She can also leave the hospital and go to another one at any time. It's her choice. But why does she care about the color of her doctor? She probably doesn't. She's probably just trying to ruffle some racist feathers and get some internet attention. Number 11, Australians in their 30s and 40s now have world-leading rates of cancer, and scientists are baffled as to why. Someone points out that their vax rate was 94%. But I'm sure that's just a coinkydink, and that it'll still remain a Scooby-Doo mystery. Why anyone would be willing to get medication that didn't have a long testing phase that reprograms your immune system, I'll never know. Canada's rates are similar as well. Moving on, here's a picture as to why communism failed. because women were limited by how much food they could eat. Here's all the food a Polish citizen received from the state back in the early 1980s. This woman was lucky to even get that much food. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a communist ad to show their abundance. I also believe that communism was the only reason that the second half of the 20th century was great for the middle class in the West. Once it was eventually clear that the communists would fail, the wealthy decided to destroy the middle classes. Number 13, here's the look on her face when her husband planned a special night for their 5-year anniversary. But the guy she lost her virginity to just proposed to his girlfriend. That there looks like one mighty upset alpha widow. She had her chance and blew it. He probably dumped her. Then again, he probably wasn't even her boyfriend, but just some random chad that she met at a nightclub and had a one-night stand with, thinking that she could make him commit. Also, is that Padme? Up next, a new study claims that 60 to 80% of men aren't getting married or dating, and people are wondering why. Because men have decided to go their own way because the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. Also, one man wants to get married to a woman that can steal his children, his house, and money. And even if his marriage is successful, most marriages that last see the man lose his sovereignty and frame, and he becomes nothing more than a glorified plow horse. Number 15, almost half of Japanese companies have an old man employed in them that does nothing. It's a sign of respect or to avoid forcing a man into early retirement. That's awesome. We have something similar in Western countries. Our companies keep dozens of women on the payroll too that don't do much of anything. But it's not a sign of respect, but instead a sign of fear. Because if they get fired, they'll actually do a whole bunch of false allegations. Moving on, this 32-year-old woman cries uncontrollably after she's cleared of having sex with a 14-year-old boy, claiming that she thought he was 16. A man would have also been weeping uncontrollably in prison as Drop the Soap Tyrone took him from behind, if he thought that a 14-year-old girl was 16 too. This is what we call the sensing gap. But you won't hear feminists complaining about women getting lower sentences or no sentences for the same crimes as men. Number 17, this woman says that if men do chores around the house, we shouldn't be celebrated, because it's just what a fully functional adult does. Meanwhile, when a woman does them, it's considered unpaid labor. Paying a cleaning lady $80 a month replaces this stupidity for most men. At least it does for me. The same goes for emotional labor. When a man is a woman's emotional tampon, that's just what the friend zone Sims do. But if a woman listens to a man, it's called that emotional labor. Up next, Uber has officially launched their female-only driver option for passengers that aren't men. And the rates are also a lot cheaper. And you just know that this will be one of the female drivers named Lilith. And she's there to drive women to their destination. And if you don't get in the car, you're a transphobic bigot and will be reported to Uber. You asked for this, ladies. Not to worry, though, because Waymo will eventually make all Uber drivers obsolete shortly. Number 19, the Daily Mail says that scientists have developed the world's first pregnancy robot capable of carrying babies. Tick-tock, I think I can hear women's obsolete biological clock. Those 60 to 80% of men that aren't getting married or dating are waiting patiently for this technology to give them a legacy. Once men can reproduce without women, we would finally break women's and government's control. It might require violence for us to gain independence from them. Moving on, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this steak? It's tragically overcooked and the cats get a treat because I'm not eating it. Growing up, that's how my parents would prepare steak. It wasn't until I was almost 30 that I had a proper steak, and when I visit my parents these days for the occasional steak, I cook it myself. And everyone wonders how I can eat it pink and raw and occasionally bloody. But looking at this is how you kill a cow twice. It's medium rare all the way. Number 21, if you woke up a billionaire tomorrow, what's the first thing that you do? How about build a fully functional sex bond to free men from women? Some people would use that money to make a lot of millionaires. Others would set aside half the money for taxes, of course, because you just know the government wants its cut of money that fell from the sky and into your lap. Actually, the first thing I would do is buy Zelensky a suit and pay him to wear it. Up next, what's disappeared gradually over the last 20 years without people noticing? How about good films? Also, common sense and critical thinking has been replaced by woke ideology. Also, payphones and telephone booths, marriageable women, low crime rates, CDs, DVDs, CRT televisions, manners, the art of conversation, morals, trust in public institutions, Kmart, and other department stores. A lot of stuff has gone missing. Number 23, Bud Light said that no one would destroy a brand faster than them by hiring Dylan Mulvaney. The Minnesota Vikings said hold our pom-poms with their trans cheerleaders. To be fair, they aren't marketing to NFL fans. They're marketing to Minnesota Viking fans. Those are two different groups. I also hear that they're changing their name to Minnesota Poo Pirates. Watch many of the Minnesota players demand to be traded now. Moving on, this woman went on her honeymoon alone after her husband and her couldn't agree where to go. Makes you wonder who she was banging on her honeymoon. The better question to ask is, who wasn't she banging? One of them is probably the guy taking the photo. I give their marriage 7 days after she gets back, there'll probably be an annulment. That will definitely save him the cost of a future divorce. Number 25 and the last one looks to me like the dead look is in. But what I really want to know is, where are their eyebrows? And the fat on the sides of their face? The truth is, this isn't what straight men find attractive, but this is what women end up looking like by listening to their gay stylists. Also, for the Miley Cyrus one being a Gucci ad, I would have expected much better photoshopping. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and subscribe star links below. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.